Hello, everyone. This is DARYL GUBERMAN, the CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. Today, we are going to be exposing the beginning of these companies who are ANSI-ANAB accredited and their registrars as well. There are 7 registrars that sit on ANSI-ANAB's board, right over by companies that utilize these registrars, like Lockheed Martin, Boeing. Also, you have Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. Those 4 companies have had poor quality metrics all the way through. They really have. You have Pfizer that skipped quality processes and standards. You don't know what they injected into your arm. And I've been involved with medical, so they really can't test everything in a laboratory. So it goes out to the market. And if it starts killing people, they have a quality hold and then a return to evaluate it at the lab. Don't let anybody joke with you or kid with you. You have Johnson & Johnson had 75 million vials of COVID returned because of quality issues. You have Lockheed Martin after their 801st ship, F-35. They're still producing them with rejections up to including loss of aircraft, loss of pilot. Most recently, I read a report where 821 rejections were found on one aircraft on the line, and they still can't get their shit together. That talks a lot about Jim Tassett, the CEO. But they figure they're making millions of dollars. Lockheed's a big company, big deal. It's our tax money. And then you have Boeing. Boeing with David Calhoun, who I was down there June 18th. Sitting in the audience, listening to him, and here's a guy making $32 million, and I think he's going to get an exiting on top of his $32 million, of $14.9 million, and it seems like if you screw up, you make a lot of money. In 2009, we're going to show this to you. Why even tell you? But this is going to be the start of the exposing of organizations accredited by ANSI-ANAB, who were not told. And by the way, the registrars, the 7 of them, and there's a lot more, but the 7 of them that sit on ANSI-ANAB's board is DQS, NQA, NSF, BSI. Also, you have TUV RHINELAND and TUV SUD. Those 2 guys were involved with the Nazis certifying their carbon monoxide cylinders. Most of you don't even give a shit, I'm sure, but that's okay. We go back to BSI, who sits there, and they also sit on Boeing's management committee. That can grant, suspend, and withdraw certification, just as Boeing sits there with them. This actually goes against, and they will probably tell you no, it doesn't, but ISO 17011 for accreditation of certification bodies, plus registrars, whatever. And this is really effective when it comes to 4.4 impartiality. The reason why I do this is because those companies that I'm going to expose, because it is my right to expose them, and you can expose me too, because you know something, I got a thick skin. And we will be sending you, everyone that I talk about and introduce will be getting this red flag to be put up on their door proudly, because between 2015 and 21, ANSI-ANAB sat on the IF, the International Accreditation Form, which was handed over to them, to China in 2015. IAF, International Accreditation Forum, is an association of accreditation bodies, both national and international. And ANSI-ANAB are their underwriters, not just for them, but also for their sister organization, IAF's sister organization in Australia, the ILAC, the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation. There's a serious issue going on, and your registrar didn't have the decency to tell you that, well, now we're taken over by China and we're watched over it, because ANSI-ANAB was the founder of the IAF. So you have double trouble, ladies and gentlemen. And when we bring to the factor, that when we bring to the light your organization, just remember that. I'm giving you fair warning, so I would go talk to your attorneys and all the rest of that, because they too, the American Bar Association, is involved with ANSI, so make my day, because I'm not going to listen to this bullshit. As an attorney said to me, and I have his email, a 40-year attorney in an email said, Daryl, both state and federal courtrooms are no more than blue smoke and mirrors, and this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, are my First Amendment rights. You want to talk about me? You want to say that I was sued by a malcontent down in Florida? Do that. Make my day. I'm ready for you. But I wouldn't want this flag to be sent to me, and it's going to be sent to you. In 2002, Boeing put out this supplier bulletin. You see there's no logo up here, none at all. And this was for PRI, Performance Review Institute. This is for NADCAP. And this is what it says. We believe, this is from Boeing, we believe the program offers significant benefits to Boeing, and by the way, Airbus is in there too. Our suppliers, it's not in here, but they utilize this as well. Our suppliers and processors, through increased productivity, improves quality, eliminate redundancies, and reduce costs. So what they did is they said, be PRI certificate, send in your certificate, send in your parts, and we're done. We don't have to come send a Boeing inspector. That was in April of 2002. In in July of 2002, this supplier bulletin came out and said, if you're not ANSI-ANAB accredited to your AS9100 certificate, if you are, please send in your cert, send in your parts, and it's right here. On-site Boeing survey, which means audit of suppliers' quality system, if need be. Need be, hear that? Our preference is to deal with proven suppliers with excellent quality performance and not have to do on-site system surveys or audits. That was for 22 years. 2009, Boeing, do not listen to the DOJ, FTC, FBI, DOT, all the rest of that. Don't listen to the FAA either. Like the DOJ said that Boeing lied to the FAA about the MCAS system. You read this, they never had to send it because this is what it said. I'm only going to read you the first sentence. The FAA increased the authority of Boeing's Commercial Airplanes Division to self-certify its own aircraft. It didn't have to tell them about new aircraft system designs or technologies. In 2009, after the Ethiopian Air and Indonesian Air went down, they were living fat and happy for 10 years, from 2009 to 2019. And then all of a sudden, this FAA spokesperson came out and said the FAA has never allowed companies to police themselves or self-certify their aircraft. In 2009, it says, the FAA increased the authority of Boeing's Commercial Airplanes Division to self-certify its own aircraft. On top of it, this gentleman came in today, Mr. Robert Kelly Oberg. I think that's correct. Is it correct? Yes, it is. Breaking news. And he was the CEO of Rockwell Collins, who also sits on ANSI-ANAB's board. And they sat in it during the time of 2015 and 21 when ANSI-ANAB sat on the IAF controlled by a communist Chinese national, who was also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services that certified the WIV in Wuhan, China, the Wuhan Virology Lab, okay? Wuhan Institute of Virology. And he handed it to a laboratory that was ill-prepared, and we have all the documentation. We showed it to you before. We'll gladly send it to you. So Robert Kelly Oberg was the CEO of Rockwell Collins when the MCAS system was designed, manufactured, and released to Boeing for the 737 MAX. And remember this, they didn't have to tell the FAA about the MCAS. They put new engines on a body, on a fuselage that was 25 years old. Further up, heavier engines. It would pull, from what I gathered, pull the nose of the airplane up too fast. So what the MCAS system was to stabilize it. Instead, it pulverized it into the ground. Robert Kelly Oberg was on board during that time of design, of manufacture, and implementation. In 2019, when Dennis Muhlenberg, the CEO of Boeing, got inquisitioned by the DHS, which sits on ANSI-ANAB's board, not just as a member, but also as a customer. They pay for a fee, a service being rendered by ANSI-ANAB. He jumped ship in 2021. Why? Because I think they knew that he was going to be promoted to Boeing because they need a guy like that brings 348 dead people with him, okay? 348 ghosts. And the worst thing is Charles Manson was the leader. He never killed anybody. He got life imprisonment. This guy is the leader of Rockwell, and that system killed 348 people. So can we compare him to Charles Manson? You be the guest. And for those of you who we expose, put this proudly in your window because we have all your addresses. 203-556-1493 or DARYL TQRS at yahoo.com. I thank you.